Welcome to Beauty Business Matters. I'm Susan Routledge, your host. And oh wow, this is an episode that I have wanted to do for over a year now. And it's just, we've never actually got the timings right, because we are here with Kat Phillips. And Kat Phillips is over in Chicago. And Kat has a business called Graffin. Is it Graffin Skin now? Yes, Graffin Skin.
I'm just Graffin now.
Oh, just Graffin now, right? And has the most amazing story. So originally Kat was a client. She has then come over and spoke at our events. She's been a guest at our events, and now just a fantastic friend. So Kat, welcome.
Thank you.
Taken a
Thank you so
while.
much for having me.
I know. I mean, we catch up quite regularly, but we just never have got the time to do a podcast. So I am so pleased. Because what is it? You're how many hours behind us here? You're
Currently 8, but sometimes it's 9. So we just never quite make it work. We never quite make it work.
So the other thing I forgot to say as well is obviously you're one of our authors in the Beauty and the Best books as well. And your story is just so inspiring from the very, very beginning. And then I would really like to sort of go from as well further down the line when we started working together and before that, because now your life has just evolved and I just love everything that you're doing now. So let's go back to the very, very beginning. So where did your interest in beauty and beauty culture, beauty therapy all start from then, Kat?
I think it all started from, it's kind of twofold. I grew up in a very patriarchal, male-dominated house, and once I had gone through puberty, I seemed to have lost some value within the household, and I didn't like that. And so I've always been very much a huge cheerleader for other women. But I think where beauty really came in for me was that my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and my mother was absolutely stunning. She was a Halston model, and she really struggled with, when she saw herself in the mirror, she would suddenly feel more sick, feel less well, less healthy. And it really hurt me to see that, because this was a woman who was fighting for her life. She was going through all kinds of treatments because she wanted to be able to continue to be there for her kids. Unfortunately, she didn't get the chance to do that. But when it came time, I had finished university, when it came time to really figure out what it is that I wanted to do, that had remained in my mind and my heart so much. So I originally went to the film industry to study makeup, special effects, because I wanted to be able to paint healthy on someone who wasn't, to try to help people who are going through that just feel better.
Yeah.
Feel better about themselves, feel better about how they felt when they went out into the world, rather than seeing that they were sick. So, I learned how to make wigs. I learned how to do eyebrows where there weren't anything. I did all of that, and I worked in that industry for about 10 years. And then that was
in
kind
that
of
industry though, yeah, you were on quite a lot of things, weren't you? You used to be on like doing the makeovers on Friends and all sorts of things.
Yeah, that was just, I day played on that. So I can't claim that was something that I did all the time. I had the opportunity to day play and do some
I'd day
extras.
play on it all the time. I'd day play on it all the time.
Yeah, so it's definitely not something that I would say was, what I did constantly, but I did have some great opportunities, but they were normally very, very, very short. But I did do a lot of feature films. They were normally, kind of lower budget, definitely not the blockbuster style, but being head of makeup and being able to do special effects was just such a great time. And so I did that. And then I fell in love with teaching. And so I was able to teach some classes in effects. And I also taught classes for kids that were coming from underprivileged backgrounds and kind of sad stories to help them with grow their career.
I just love how you've like turned what was something quite sad into something doing so much good. I
Thank,
just love that. But that's just your personality and that's just who
thank
you
you.
are. So where did Graffin start from then? Did you work in the industry in sort of treatments before Graffin, or did you come straight into that?
Yeah, I did. I ended up in Chicago from Los Angeles because I met my husband and he was from here. And so when I came here, he was kind enough to tell me, he's like, why don't you do what it is that you would have always wanted to do and just forget what your dad would say about it? Because my dad still wanted me to try to consider doing med school. And this was just, I between films I always went and got facials. I loved them so much. They made me feel so good and so heard and cared for that I wanted to give that for other people. So I went through traditional beauty school, not film beauty school, and got my licensure. And then I first started working for a med spa, and it was before it was before Botox, which is really sad. At least Botox in the face. So that tells you how long I've been doing it now. And so I did that. I had kind of a tough time with seeing the same women coming in for augmentation and plastic surgery over and over again. And
Yeah.
so I went from that and started working in a beauty salon, which was much more my speed. And then when that beauty salon closed down, um, I only had 2 weeks to figure out what I was going to do. They didn't give us much warning. So I sold my husband's motorcycle out from under him, bought myself a massage bed, and I opened Graffin. So that's really how we started.
Oh, wow. And how long ago was that now?
So Graffin has just celebrated 13 years.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously I know the state that you got to with the business.
Mhm.
When you first opened, uh, were you busy from day one?
Um, I wasn't busy from day one because I couldn't tell my clients where I was. So
Mm,
I had sent out flyers in the mail that went to every person in the zip code and with my photo on it, which anybody knows me, I'm camera shy. I don't like being on camera. So to send out my photo to everybody. But then one person found me, and then I was the talk of the town for every summer party because I opened in May. And by the end of the summer, I was probably close to 70% booked. But,
mm,
which was pretty impressive because at that point, you're starting a business, you're working, a minimum of 6 days a week. And just anytime anybody wanted to come in, it didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I was going to be here.
yeah. And then it just grew from there
Hmm.
to the point where you pretty much made yourself you weren't too well on it, were you? It started to take over your life. Do you want to talk about that? Because I think that happens so much. I think it's one of those things that because we're in an industry where you want to please people, you want
Hmm.
to do the best for someone. And obviously, I think when you are so good, obviously word's gonna spread fast how good you are. And then, as I say, it started to take a toll on you though, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was hard because A, your body starts to break down, but B, you don't get into this industry unless you truly love people. And I find most people in this industry, myself for sure, we're yes people. And so when you hold someone's head in your hands and for an hour, 2 hours at a time, you get this incredible bond. And so saying no to them is so hard. But because we now have online booking and, people can find you through the internet, I had so many people that didn't know me coming in and booking on my schedule, to where these people who got me to where I was, and this was only 2 or 3 years into the business, they couldn't get appointments. And they were, my regulars that had been with me the whole time I've lived in Illinois were looking at 6, 8 months out before they could get in. And that was really awful, because I was losing people that I loved, that I,
Yeah.
if asked, I would probably see if I could give them a kidney. And so when you start losing those people, you really panic. You don't know what to do. And at the time, I was burned out, was working so many hours. My hands were hurting. I had unfortunately a contracted Lyme's disease. So I had this illness that was just making things harder and harder and harder. And it was right around the time that Adam Chatterley had started his podcast. And, I heard it, and he really was inspiring. And so I sent him a text and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I wish you were there when I first started my industry. What you're saying, it took me so many times to fall down to get back up." And he was kind enough to reach back out to me. I was shocked. It was the first time anybody on the internet had ever reached back to me. And he's just like, "Oh, thank you so much. Is there anything I can help you with?" And all I could tell him, I was like, "I don't know if you can. I've got the problem that everybody wants. I'm completely full. I have a wait list that's a mile deep. I'm turning away people. I'm losing people that I love. I don't even know what to do." And he was he was so sweet. He was just like, "You know what? I also don't know what to do." He's like, "But I know somebody that did." And he was kind enough to put me on to you. And I had this phone call with you, and within the first, I don't know, 2 paragraphs, you said, "Well, why don't you just book them out for a year?" And
I know.
which is mad. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, no one does that. Like, no one does that here. It's not something that anybody does. But at that point, I was so desperate. I said, "Oh, I don't know this lady, but we're going to do it." I got off the phone with you and literally started booking people a year in advance within an hour of getting off the phone with you, because I had no choice. I had absolutely no choice.
But I think
Because
as well, because at that time, your prices obviously didn't reflect how brilliant you were either. So we sort of tiered as well, bringing clients in, clients who were booking ahead. We
Mhm.
held that price for a little bit, and then new clients were coming in at the higher price, and then just
Mhm.
kept bringing clients in at the higher price. But I can always remember, it's always that easy thing, isn't it? When you're looking down on a business, it's when you're in the thick of it, you just don't see what. And like you say, over in the States, then like long-term booking just wasn't something that was done for crazy reason. But I can
Yeah.
remember as well, because you were doing so much, you were trying to do so much social media as well, and when we
Mhm.
looked at that, you weren't getting a huge amount of, and in reality, you really didn't need that extra
Mm-mm.
attention on you.
Mm-mm.
And then as well, originally in between clients, you were trying to like field phone calls and take messages and get
Mhm.
booked in. So, and I can always remember one of our calls. You were like, "Nobody's ringing," and
It
I was
was
like, "But,"
terrifying. It was
I was like, "Because they're
terrifying.
all booked in."
It was such a terrifying thing. It's because you're so used to being on this treadmill and everything is going so fast, so fast, so fast, that all of a sudden when it's quiet, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my business. It's all going crashing down." It's so funny. I mean, and I think that's partly my personality. If I have 2 people cancel in a week, I think I'm going to lose it all. But it's funny. You
Yeah.
get confidence, but it's so easy for it to go away when it's not what you expect it. But it turned out to be nice. Like my clients now, they know if they want to get a hold of me, they text me. They don't call, because I'm never on my phone. And
Yeah,
and
we're going to get to where you are now.
yeah,
So the thing is,
sorry.
so the thing is that, like, obviously as well, because at that point you also had like an online business with your retail as well,
Mhm,
which now I know you've like taken all into one kind of thing. So you
mhm,
were like also shipping products and doing all sorts of
mhm.
other things as well on top.
Oh yeah.
Um, but when I do master classes, I always speak about you because you know that what you've done now and turned it into such a lifestyle is absolutely such a credit and so inspiring to so many people. But at that time, you know, I can always remember as well, and I don't know whether you still do this, but I can always remember when you said if someone cancels, what they do is they just gift that appointment to someone
Mhm,
else, which gets them in and gets their
mhm.
foot in the door kind of thing. Is that still happening?
It is. It's really funny is that I get gifted a lot. I had a husband that actually sold his wife's appointment to someone in the neighborhood. So I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, a lot of times when people cancel, they call their friends, people that already see me or people that have always wanted to see me. And then they'll buzz in and I'll walk up and it's not Sarah, it's some other woman, which is great. I mean, what a great way to meet people. 99% of the clients that I meet that are new, they've been fully vetted by people that already love me and that I already have a relationship with. And so there's never that awkward have to talk about the weather. You can kind
Yeah,
of just jump right into like real conversation and real connection, which I
yeah.
really love.
But as well, as soon as you've got scarcity in your business, and you know, the reason why I always use you as an example is because it wasn't happening in your industry out in America.
Mm-mm.
Um, but there's so many people will go like, oh, our clients wouldn't do that. Our clients wouldn't do that. And, you know, of course, they're going to come back. So of course they will. And to me, like looking after clients is booking them in for the long term.
Mhm,
But then as soon as someone sees that they can't just, and as well, it stops people cancelling last minute because
mhm,
they know that they can't just get back in. And like you say, it adds real value, but as well, at the same time, when something becomes scarce, it becomes more valuable.
mhm.
And that's so you mean you you would never ever get anyone questioning your prices whether or not you increase them again tomorrow and then in another 3 months.
Mm.
Nobody would ever question that because you're at that point where it's you someone wants. It's nothing to do with the price point at all. And if it was about the price point, they're not your clients.
Right.
But sorry, you say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's what's funny is when you get really busy and you get really, there's a lot of demand for you. I actually have clients that suggest that I add another $150 onto my prices, and I don't. I mean, for how booked I am, I do try to keep everything accessible because I have a lot of teachers and people, not just a bunch of rich ladies with mounds of money. And I like having a very big, like broad
Mm,
spectrum of women and like where they all come, what
yeah.
they
But
do.
what you can do is, you know, because and we will get on to like sort of how you've got the business set up now. But what you can do is, you know, you can have the hours that is your business on your terms, which is what
Mhm,
you've done now. But anyone who wants out of those hours, that's what, you know, that can be like a premium appointment. That can be
mhm,
double the price or whatever, you know. And if someone wants those premium times, it's very interesting that when someone has got the opportunity for a premium price treatment, they will suddenly find a time when they can come come at another time. But
well,
obviously not in your diary.
Well, it's funny. There's a he's a hair coach here in the United States. His name is Gino Sampora. Been around forever. Hilarious guy.
Great
But
name.
yeah, he's great. I mean, he really is wonderful. He always said that all of his VIPs, which all mine are VIPs now, that he would give them a card that says, once a year, you can call me out of my Christmas dinner if you need it. And so my clients know that if they have something desperate, they have a wedding or something really important that they need, they have that opportunity that I will do that for them because they are my VIP. That has been in place for 8 years now. No one's ever used it because they respect my time now.
Exactly. But your time as well, I love as well, because we needed to make it so that it was like as stress-free forever as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And like I always like say, it's your business, your terms. You can do whatever you want with your business. Like, for example, my business now, we open 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than we open actually the same amount of hours because we've got the team in, but it works great for the business, and we alternate Mondays and Fridays, and it's so every other weekend it's a lovely long weekend for the team and things like that. You have changed yours now, so you work 1 week on, 1 week off. Is that right? So it's 20 weeks a year.
Yeah, I'm 1 week on, 1 week off. I take 2 weeks off minimum a year, just separate to that. And then the way I'm a little cheeky because it's actually less than 1 week on, because I work the back half of 1 week. So I put like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It takes Sundays off always. That's my pottery day. And then I work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then I don't come back for an entire week. And that's it's so great because you never get burned out. When it does seem like it's hard, you can do I learned it when I was boxing. You can do anything for 3 minutes. So in aesthetics, you can do anything for 3 days. And then, and then you have that time to go out. And I will say that when you do it like that, the first day that you have off, you're kind of staring at the wall because you've had all the conversations and all the things. And so that's a little bit of a lost day. But it's so nice to not have to get a day off and then instantly have to do your laundry and go right back. That's really hard.
I think it's when you've done it for so long as well. I can always remember when I first started taking time out of my business. This is when I was actually still doing some treatments, but taking time out. And I would go into our local city shopping. But what I would do is purposely go and buy some stationery or go and buy something that was related to the business, so I could come back and say, oh, I had to pop in for this. And I don't know why, but in my head I thought, like, well, then all of the team know that I'm not just swanning around shopping, which I was obviously. But you guilt trip yourself, which is crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
It really is. And I mean, and it took me a while. I mean, I've really only become strict about not coming in on my days off. Probably maybe a year now, because I would, go back and forth and, I'd do all of that stuff. But now I really decided, I deserve time to repair. Because I've been in this industry a long time. I'm in my 50s. Your forearms start to hurt. Your hands will start to go numb after a couple of days.
Yeah.
And so, you have to take that time for yourself. And, I was never taught to do that. It wasn't something that you did, but I have to.
If you're an established salon or clinic owner and you're starting to feel you've outgrown the usual business advice out there, then this is for you. It's exactly why 8 years ago I created Beauty Directors Club, a small exclusive membership for forward-thinking beauty and skin clinic directors who want more. We're an incredible like-minded community with ongoing support, masterminds and get-togethers in the UK and abroad. In fact, every single guest on this show is a close associate of the club. If this sounds like you, come and learn more, and let's have a personal chat about whether it's your next step. The link's in the show notes. I mean, I've been talking a lot about this lately because it just seems to happen that wherever I'm speaking, someone will come up and start to tell me about their business. And quite often they've got to like the point where they're totally in burnout, not
Mhm.
charging their worth, totally in burnout, working hours that they don't want to. But you're looking at sort of, I've met people who are less than 40 having heart attacks,
Mm.
people having strokes and things. And I think you've got to listen to your body. Obviously, your body was screaming out to tell you that you needed to change what you were doing. But I think, like you said, when you are so on that hamster wheel, it's really, really hard to not. But I think you've got to, and anyone listening to this needs to really think, if you're starting to get even like sort of like, colds and aches and pains and things, it's your body trying to like tell you you've got to like
Mhm.
start and look at what you're doing. Ignoring all of that, it'll eventually like, well, hang on, I'm going to give you something bigger to think about now. I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
Your body's such a clever thing. And then you do have to take time out. And,
Yeah.
luckily you didn't get that far, but like, you if you'd carried on, heaven knows where, and it's the impact on your family life and everything. But what I love now is the fact that when we do speak, you normally like either watering your herbs or like,
How many
chickens in the
times have you
background,
seen me
dogs.
in the greenhouse with no bra on and a hat?
That's
um,
the norm.
yeah, I'm definitely, when I'm not here, I'm definitely a farm girl because I think, like not only the body stuff, and I'm kind of roll back here a little bit, but I think the other thing that we forget in this industry is our mental health because
Yeah,
we are a vessel to take off other people's stress and we hear their good times, but we get a lot of their bad times.
yeah.
And I think if you don't
Mm,
allow, find what grounds you. I mean, for me, it's, being covered in dirt, and, my feet in the grass. That's what it is for me. Other people, it's going out with their friends and things like that.
mm,
I think that's so incredibly important. And it gets forgotten because,
yeah.
our,
But at that time as well, you were living more city living, weren't you? Really, you
Mhm.
were in the suburbs and things. Where now you're on little ass farm and
Tiny ass farm.
tiny ass farm. I love that, tiny ass farm.
Just
And
2 acres working really hard.
but as well, every time we speak as well, you just seem to have gone more and more into that chill mode. And, like when we caught up, what was it last week, a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
you started doing pottery and things.
Mhm.
It's all of these things that give you that, it give you your energy back. And
Mhm.
funny enough, I've just recently just done another podcast with Vicky Ross, and we were just talking about this. It was supposed to be about manifesting, and you know how crazy I am on that. But the thing is that it was all around like the energy, and once you're out in nature, it is just a different energy. And I was saying, now that I'm over in Mallorca most of the time, and like I get loads of work done, but I just feel like I'm in a different energy. It, yeah, there's something special about being in nature, and I just, as I say, I just love that you're. As I say, when we have conversations, it's normally that you're out watering something, or I
Well,
love it.
I just think like nature has its own cadence. And even though a lot of my clients, they're in the suburbs or they're in the city, I think it's grounding for other people to be around people who try to sync their own cadence with that of Mother Nature. And it's not something that I do naturally. I'm definitely not your Earth Mother kind of girl. I'm more like a Teflon hippie. But I really like, I really like to try to be that for people and to try to be that for myself. Just slow it down, take those deep breaths and see the world and take time to, it's the old saying, take time to smell the roses.
Mm,
And, around my house, it's like take time to watch the raccoons. But it's that stuff. I think that I think as humans, I think we want that. We want that,
Mhm.
and I've become this weird inspiration for people that
Yeah.
that I have women that are now volunteering with wildlife groups, and people who have gotten into birding and all these other things. And it's just from conversations that we have that inspire people to go and look for for what it
Yeah.
is that's going to ground them.
Yeah. But the thing is, everyone's gone into a business for it to be the business of their dreams, and
Mhm.
working flat out and being a slave to your business is not that dream. So at some point you've got to you either get to the point where you'll start, either, as I say, your body will start and tell you can't do it, or as well you start and resent that business,
Mhm.
and because it gets to the point where it can't grow anymore. Where now, I mean, you obviously, we're not going to go into financials, but you are more financially secure than when you were working flat out and things.
Oh yeah,
You know, retail still a huge part of your business as well?
it is. I mean, I would say it's probably at least 50%, if not more.
Yeah,
We've been very lucky. I have an online store that does really well, and I think when I don't see my clients every month like many therapists do, I see them about every quarter. And so it's always, if they're going to go that far between appointments, doing the right thing at home I think is super important. And so my clientele they're really great. They come in, and when they come in, they bring their little bag of all the things that they have. We shake the bottles to see what needs to be done, and who and what we need to change. And so they always go home with products, and that's you
yeah,
know I think people forget how important retail is. Not only like the retail does so much of the heavy lifting when I'm not there. I mean, ultimately the retail and them doing it at home, that's the
mm,
calling card. Like when my clients look fabulous, they may not have seen me for 11 weeks, but they look
yeah.
fabulous because they know what to do in between when we see each other.
Well, when you're saying as well, your maintenance for a client is quarterly. Are you saying that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, even I always like to say, even if you are seeing a client every month for a facial, it's barely over half a day a year that you are seeing a client.
Mhm.
You know, the rest of the 364 and a half days a year, that client is then just left to their own devices, or, you know, you're giving advice and then they're going somewhere else and buying it,
Mhm.
where so it has to be that it has to be the essential part that preps someone's skin so that your treatments are the most effective, so
Yeah.
it works so well.
Yeah, and if you're not educating your clients on what they should be using, somebody else will. And I mean, you just have to log on to Instagram for like 3 minutes to find out that there's a lot of bad advice, and then you have to undo it. And I hate undoing somebody else's bad work. I really
Mm,
do. And I've had to do it even when there's some days that I'm off that I don't have those conversations. And then the next time I see them, something weird from China has come in to their routine. And then I have to solve it. And sometimes I have to solve it by sending them to a physician for a prescription. And that's not fair to my client.
no.
And it's because I didn't do what I should have done as the expert.
Yeah, but there's only so much that you can do, and I think you can still be the absolute best. And clients, there is so much online, and obviously everything looks like it's going to be absolutely brilliant, and it's going to be a miracle. And
Mhm.
it's so easy. What was I watching the other day? I was listening to some podcast. And they were saying that, like, the most popular time for someone to be shopping, especially in our industry, is around about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Because none of us
So it's
sleep.
like, Yeah, yeah. There'll be the sales will have shot up at the moment because, like I say, like in the UK, we're in sweltering heat, so I don't think anyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
So there'll be like the sales will have shot through the roof. But I
But you,
find it really quite sad that someone will spend a long time training and having all this knowledge and either just keeping it in the head and not passing that information
Mhm.
on, or passing it on but then not linking it to sales, because a client's going to then take that information. We all know that someone will only take in a percentage of what you say, so they'll take in maybe it's not the best parts of the information that you've given. They're
Mhm.
not, they're going to go and buy somewhere else. I
Mhm.
always like say, skincare, now it's a commodity. It's not a luxury anymore. So it's
Mhm.
like, someone's not going to run out of a cleanser and then think, I'm never going to buy another one of them. It's just, if they're not going to be buying it from you, they're going to go and buy it from somewhere else.
Mhm.
You know, and I always say it's like buying toilet roll. You see people in the supermarket, they've got the basket where they've got a skin cream in,
Mhm.
and as well as like that washing up liquid and things. It's so clients are buying, and when I get people to do surveys on their clients and where they're buying, quite often it is from supermarkets and things, but
Mhm.
they've got teams who are giving great advice but then just not following it through with a sale, which is mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think part of it is that, I mean, and I'm part of this too. I did a wonderful program for cosmetic chemistry, and then I worked with Skin
Mm,
Masterclass in the UK as well.
yeah.
And you know, I think we know so much, and we trained so hard on all of it that we get super excited, and then we talk so high over someone's understanding that they gloss over. And then you have, a TikToker who is spitting out words that make no sense to us, make absolutely no sense to us, but they do to the client. So I think you always have to remember that you have to take what you have and then you have to distill it down to yourself. So
Mm,
how would I teach that to someone else? And that's what you have to teach. I mean, you can drop a big word and a tetrapeptide in here and there, but they need to know what is it doing for them. Like
yeah.
that's what matters. It
Yeah.
doesn't
It's got to
matter
be what's
the
in it for
chemical
them.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be what's in it for them, because
Mhm.
clients buy on what they, not necessarily what they need, but what they feel that they want as well, kind of
Mhm.
thing. So it's
Yeah,
like,
they're buying a fantasy. Women buy fantasies. That's the reason why we all have dresses that we're never going to wear
oh, tell
in
me
our
about it.
closets because we buy fantasies. We absolutely do, and I think that that's the same thing with skincare, is that
Mm,
you have to dispel some of these fantasies as not being real, but also at the same time you have to speak to someone's aspirational self.
And I mean, now with AI and things, you don't even know whether it's real before and afters or anything. I mean, they've been
Hmm.
forever, but yeah, yeah. So, so is your plan now? I know you starting to do traveling. You were going to be over in the UK and it hasn't come.
I know.
It's
I had a
just so.
bum knee. I had a bum knee.
So for you yourself, is this the ideal for you working? And is this how you are going to continue? Or have you got different ideas around how you want to evolve now into other directions? I know, like you just said, you did do some master classes and different things, which were
Mhm.
absolutely awesome. So what is it that, that apart from your pottery and everything else, you've got the lifestyle and that side with the work. Is it ideal, or what you've?
I think right now I'm having fun and there's no stress. I have been, and you have helped me work through this with myself. I am someone who will build things up to the top and everything's running perfect, and then I'll just break them, tear them down to the bottom and build them back up. I'm not so much in tearing things down anymore. I think life is about having fun, and life is about joy and happiness, and sharing who you are with, your clients, your family, with the world around you.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to stay exactly like this myself. I've got one gal that's been working with me for almost 10 years, and her name's
Yes,
Sunny.
funny.
And it's just the two of us, and she probably works every 6 weeks, which is fine. But I'm happy. I'm happy. This is joyful to me, and I think I'll continue to do it this way until it's not joyful, and then who knows what I'll do.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't want to expand. I don't want to franchise. I don't want to sell. I don't want to package myself up to be sold one day. I just want to come in every day and just have a great time, and I look forward to being here. I also
Mm.
look forward to leaving. So it's just life's good, and I'm just going to try to stay that way.
And how far ahead are you booking now? Because I know when you came over to the UK, and I think possibly when we were out in Malta, you were about 18 months ahead booked by then.
So Malta was funny because I was in Malta right after I had opened my books for the following year. So it looked a little inflated. So what really happens is in September, I send an email out to all my clients saying that if you would like to book for next year, my books are open. You'll get to hold your last year's pricing if you book now and don't move your appointment. And so typically I send that out around September 15th. By October 1st, I'm completely booked for the entire year. So at that point, I'll be booked for like 14, 15 months. It's June, and people are begging me to open my books for next year because they want to get on it already. But
But
yeah,
again, it's creating scarcity. But if you continued booking just one appointment ahead, your clients would have they would have thought, well, that's what Kat wants me to do. Now, as I say, now I love the fact that like they'll be sitting waiting for that email, and it's like, you know, I love that you open it all up together. It's just so good. Um,
I don't even book them. I don't even book them anymore. I have a couple of older gals that struggle with the phone, so I'll book them in. But everybody else, they just stick themselves in. And what's really funny is because at first it was tough because they weren't smart booking, so they were they'd leave like half an hour in between. I don't have anybody that leaves gaps anymore. I never have to move them. I mean, if people know what it is that you want, they'll give it to you. And I think that's really funny is because we're always so afraid to ask our clients of something. And I was lucky at the beginning of my career, no one knew where I was, is that I had to ask people, like, can you please tell your friends? Like, I don't have I have no way of getting hold of my old, but please tell people, or I don't know how my business is going to grow. And so my business started kind of early on asking others for help, and it's really amazing. Like, women like to hold other women up,
yeah.
and I'm very much an example of that.
So let's take a quick pause from today's brilliant conversation because I want to tell you about the Smart Group, a company that's genuinely close to my heart and one that I've trusted for years with my own clinic. Do you ever get totally bamboozled by the equipment that's out there and what it's actually meant to do for you? I know I have. Here's the thing, buying equipment should never be rushed. It needs careful assessment so you invest right for your business, and that's exactly why I love the Smart Group. Josh and Ian, the MDs, have been salon owners since the 90s, so they won't sell you a thing until they've checked it's genuinely right for you, and you can even demo it first. You've got certified training, fantastic launch support, and continued aftercare, as well as a unique performance guarantee. They do a fantastic free opportunity review which looks at the suitability for your business. So if you'd like to book this, then the link's in the show notes below. Yeah, but that's very, very relevant what you've just said, though, as well, because you were asking clients to tell people where you were, and again, clients won't naturally just remember to do that. So
Mhm.
it's just it is just a simple question, like, and it I speak to salon owners where they're like, "Oh, we get some recommendations, but do you ask your clients to recommend?" They're like, "Oh, no, no."
Oh,
I think
I
you
I
you
I
presume
always
the
do.
clients know, but they don't.
Yeah, I always do. Even now, I still
Mm.
ask them. I'm like, if you have somebody that you think would love me and that I would love back, don't send me anybody you don't think is really great. And I'm like, I'd love to see them. And and they still do. And if you look at my reviews online, they're really funny. You're like, I don't know. I really kind of feel like I shouldn't tell anybody how great she is because then it's going to get harder for me to get an appointment. They're really funny. Like it's always, she's really great, she knows what she does, she's become a wonderful friend, she's really booked. Those are the four things that my Google reviews say over and over. It's really funny.
Oh, I know, but then again, people feel like they're very, very special because they've got that little bit of time with you and things. It's
But they
amazing how you've created it all. And I absolutely love what you've done and how you do and continue to as well. And as I say, I talk about you all the time because it just you know when someone like says, "Oh, my clients wouldn't do that," I'm like, "Yes, they would. It wasn't even in America, and it is now."
Well, I mean, and the thing is you're a huge credit for that, Susan. I mean,
Oh.
you were the one who told me it was possible. I had worked with so many coaches, but you're the only coach that told me that I could grow my business the way I wanted it, and that my business didn't have to be what everybody else says it has to be. I mean, like, that's, you have no idea how much of a gift that is, that you helped me build something for me.
Oh.
It was I'll never be able to repay you for it.
Oh, yeah, but having your friendship's enough because you're
Oh,
absolutely awesome. And yeah, it is to me, I think everyone should have a business on their terms. And, I've absolutely loved this. And I hope that we can get you on as a guest again because, everything that you talk through is so inspiring. But before you go, can we have a couple of golden nuggets of like what would you say have either made the hugest difference in your business or the things that you would say someone this is 100% essential what you need to do?
um, I would say don't be so proud that you don't ask for help. We can't we can't be an island. We can't at all. And being a business owner can be really lonely unless you
Yeah.
admit that you need help and you ask questions, and never ever be afraid to ask questions. I think we're so worried about being
Yeah.
foolish or people not thinking we're smart. The smartest people I know ask questions
Yeah.
or ask for clarification or will ask it another time. And it took me so long to learn all of
Yeah.
that because it wasn't something that, I mean, my family's
Mm.
German. It's not something
Yeah.
we do. We don't admit fault.
It's because
But,
someone looks
or
at it as a failing, but it's a strength.
it really is. I mean, everybody you meet can teach you. And I think that it's so important to take that opportunity because that's really what life is. Life is about growing and learning. And
Yeah.
take the opportunities to learn from everybody, your clients, your friends, your mentors. Um, it will take you really a long way.
Yeah, I think you just got to realize you're never ever going to stop learning.
Mhm.
Every day is a school day, isn't it?
Mhm.
Or every day is a pottery day now.
Not every day. After anybody that pots, you realize it ruins your fingers really quick.
Oh, Kat, this has been absolutely amazing. And thank you so, so much for being a guest and giving up your time. But I know how many people this will have inspired. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much again. Once again, I'm going to leave you with my face hurting for smiling so much. I love you so much, Susan. I
Oh,
I I think about you constantly, and I sing your praises to everyone that will listen.
oh, thank
You're the
you.
best.
Lots of love.
That's love.